and welcome to another episode of the Rawkwardness podcast, where we interview artists about how they came to be artists, how they started playing and writing in the very beginning, and they play us one of the first songs they ever wrote. I'm your host, Rose Sean. My co-hosts are Terence Claire and Tony Tancredi. Today, we are coming to you once again as part of our little series within a series from the Waymore Guest House in Nashville, Tennessee, with Oliver and Andres from Jive Talk. You may not have heard of Jive Talk yet, but listen up, because these guys have a great sound, an electrifying live show, a super cool visual style, and they've been touring all over the South and the Eastern Seaboard. In fact, they're playing one of America's biggest festivals this very weekend, Bonnaroo. We had a great chat with singer Oliver Pierce and guitar keys player Andres Ahogado about the very different ways they came to music, the diverse interests of each member of the band, and of course, the business. Stick around for the literal first song Oliver ever wrote and the tenderest rendition of a Jive Talk tune you're likely to ever hear. Enjoy!
No, not those ones. I have them here, though. I like that you called them the Zella glasses.
The Zella glasses. They're the Zella.
Yeah.
And now it's the yellow backpack.
Yeah, the yellow backpack.
One of my favorite presents I've ever gotten is that Tony got me the closest he could find to the J Simps, the
My white
Zella
glasses.
Yeah.
Not my white glasses. Zella and team got me some polarized Ray-Bans that are really dope.
Oh, no, right. Because they match the ones I already had. So now
Thank
Tony
you,
and I
Zella.
can twin in either sunglasses, which is my favorite thing.
Oh, I got Ray-Bans too. We should all throw them on.
We should all wear glasses
we
for
should all
this.
wear glasses.
I mean, this is like, I wish I was wearing a tie, man.
it's just-
There we go. No, hold on.
We're going to talk about the business right now.
Perfect, yeah.
Oh, this feels way better now that we're all wearing glasses.
I'm glassesless.
Well, you have
Glassesless.
glasses, you just don't
I
have
did.
sunglasses.
Yeah, just picture me wearing a suit right now.
I
I'm
just,
wearing a full-
You are
I
wearing
just
a suit.
squint
Yeah, I am
my
wearing a
eyes,
suit.
It kind of just blurs the vision a little bit.
Check these out.
Hey.
We all got
No one
these,
can see what we're
these
doing,
are
but we're all wearing
transition
glasses.
lenses, so they just got to get darker. But if I stare at the
Transitional
sun,
lenses.
If I stare
Longer.
directly into the sun long
it's
enough.
working.
Nothing cooler than transition lenses,
Hey.
right, Terrence?
It's
Yep.
working.
That's it.
We're just wearing some transitional lenses. We're wearing glasses because it's bright, and we are at the Waymore's Guest House and Social Club with Jive Talk in Nashville.
Yeah.
Rawkwardness does Nashville.
What's good?
Yeah, and also I want to say, Andreas, thank you so much for one, telling Oliver about this, and you guys both coming, but for providing all the mic stands and the
Yep.
cables. We couldn't do this without you.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for having us over. It's really good to see you.
It's so good to see you.
Yeah.
We had a crazy summer together.
Oh,
Lots
man.
of wild adventures throughout the country and Canada.
Yeah, and Canada.
Wait, now let's see. How did you guys meet? I lose track because Tony knows everyone.
Yeah, we met. I was playing with this band that is also from Nashville. That's also going to be in the podcast, Okie Dokie.
Yeah, okay.
They were supporting Zella Day on a really long tour. So we all got to know each other really well.
Nice. Okay, so
Go
the
through
Zella
the-
tour. That's
And
the
Andreas was
connection.
always a fun time on the road. If you were ever looking for a fun time, you just look at Andreas like, what are you doing? And then he'll take you to the best spot. He wouldn't even be from the city. He'd be like, oh, I know this spot.
Oh,
What? How'd
okay,
you
you're
know
that
about this?
guy. All right.
And it's
all
like the
right.
hip poppin' bar that no one else would have known about. But he knew in
Nice.
Charlotte, North Carolina or wherever.
Hey, I love Charlotte.
No,
Charlotte's
truly,
pretty cool.
No,
truly
North
though,
Carolina's
actually,
dope.
I would love to know what the cool bar is in Charlotte because I've been there a million times, but like never been like out there.
Well, we played this divey place called Snug Harbor. Remember that?
Called what?
Snug Harbor.
Snug
Snug
Harbor.
Harbor.
And it's
okay.
pirate themed.
Oh, that sounds
course it is.
fun.
It's very fun.
That sounds really
It
fun.
was a great time.
Yeah, my the most I know about Charlotte really is their courthouse, which is a story for another day.
Have you been married?
You have a warrant.
Yes, I've been married in Charlotte. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So you guys, where are you from originally, each of you?
I'm from Muhlenberg County, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Do you know
Shout out
the
John
song?
Prine. Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Do
okay.
I?
Probably conceived to the song.
Right.
I'm from Bogota, Colombia. I was born and
really?
raised there.
Oh wow. Okay.
Moved to Nashville when I was 18 to go to college and do the whole music thing.
Right on.
That was almost like 9 years ago.
Oh wow. Okay. So you must like it here.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some good dudes around.
He just looked at Oliver when he said that.
So, and then you guys met in Nashville, I assume?
Mm.
Yeah. I read a lot of press about you guys, but it's funny because, like, I had to read a bunch of articles to get, like, new pieces of information because, you know, like, people just kind of regurgitate the same press
Yep.
release. But so you have known you're one of the founding members of the band, yeah? So you and Isaac have known each other for a long time.
Yeah. We went to college together in Bowling Green, WKU, and we were both going to school for musical theater at the time. And
Cool.
we lived together, and that's kind of where just goofing off making music happened. And then slowly just started writing together, and I still was like doing jobs in musical theater. I lived in New York for 4 years, and then Isaac and I met back up in Memphis working for the same theater.
Oh, cool.
We picked it back up, and that's where we got Ben involved, who is the third founding member. Isaac and Ben grew up together in Mexico. Their parents were missionaries.
Oh, that's right.
And Ben is a production wizard. He works out of a studio on Gallatin, 4115.
Shout out.
So we were, shout out Dewey. We were driving from Memphis to Nashville to record all the time, and it just got to the point where I was like, fuck it, let's just try to make this work in a real way.
I love that.
So we moved to Nashville.
Well,
Met-
that's
I
cool.
love it.
Well,
It makes so much sense you guys have the theater background.
I
because
love that.
The whole like thing you got going on with the business, all the just like the videos and everything, the whole
It's great.
feel, it's so immersive.
It's all
so,
about the
like,
drama, man.
Yeah, I love it. And the phone number too. We got to
for
put the
sure.
phone number in the show
oh man,
notes.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, but we'll get to all that more
Yeah.
later.
We gotta
But
start
we
at the
wanna
beginning.
we
It's
want to
genius.
like way
As we
rewind.
say, everyone starts
That's
somewhere.
right. So,
Yeah, we got to take it back.
Oliver, do you mind if we start with you? How did you start playing or singing or playing music or whatever in the beginning? Like, how did that begin for you?
In the very beginning, so in Muhlenberg County,
Where Paradise Lay.
It was where Paradise Lay.
Sorry.
And my dad's a coal miner, so it's like all more, all more true. But there was a community theater there, and I was keen on a gal who was in a play, and she told me to audition for a play, and I had never sung. I sang in like church, you know, and stuff like that, but never for real. So I did it, and I ended up getting in the play, and she did not. So the play kind of backfired.
She hated me for it.
But it came through in a real way because I fell in love with it. It was like the first thing that somebody told me I was truly good at. You know, I played football. I was shit at football. I still love sports and everything, but I did marching band and played trumpet, and nothing ever really connected, but something about acting and singing.
Yeah.
It was just, it was so fun. And then for people to say, you're actually not that bad, you should keep doing this. I was like, well, that's new. I'll keep doing
A
that.
little external
okay.
validation
Wait a
goes a
minute.
long way sometimes, you
yeah.
know, like, oh.
Was trumpet your first instrument?
French horn, yeah.
Nice.
And then trumpet, because
That's
French horn's
cool.
too fucking hard, man.
I also
Oh,
played the
yeah.
French horn, and I gave
I
up
did
really
trumpet.
quickly.
I think I chose it because it was shiny.
Sure.
I'm like,
you're
I
like,
gotta
"Whoa,
learn
this
an
is tough."
instrument. So
Well, I wanted to do percussion, but everybody fucking wanted to do percussion.
Yeah.
So they're like, you look like a trumpet player to me. Really sold me on it, you know? I was like, all
But
right.
doesn't
sure.
this look fun?
Ooh.
Wouldn't you love to be a trumpet player?
And so I was a trumpet player. And then my uncle played in bands, and he played guitar and bass, and so he started teaching me to play bass. That was the next kind of progression into that. And then I just picked up guitar on my own, and I would always just do it for fun or for like self-tapes for auditions in musical theater. You always have to, it's easier to play a guitar yourself than find somebody who can play piano.
yeah.
So,
Did you like the kind of music growing up? Because I love that your sound has a kind of throwback yacht rock vibe, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like,
Oh, that's-
were you listening to that growing up?
oh yeah, my dad was huge
Yeah,
in
oh,
Steve,
yeah.
Steve Miller Band
Yeah.
and Bee Gees and fucking Hall & Oates and like big,
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
big in that world. And so that, and then my mom
Michael
was,
McDonald, any?
Oh,
like,
for
yeah.
he's a king. And then my mom was big into Prince and more like
Oh, yeah.
funky
Yeah, yeah.
kind of stuff. So those two, with their powers combined.
Yeah. Well, so, and then to turn the
Andreas.
focus to Andreas. So I'm just imagining that you probably had a super different experience at the very beginning.
It's pretty different from
Yeah.
ours, that's for sure.
Unless your Colombian parents were really into Michael McDonald. I don't know. It could have been.
There were actually. Yeah. My dad played classical guitar,
cool.
Still does, and piano. And he got my brothers and I'm the youngest of 3 brothers. He got us all into playing music. So I started just playing classical piano. And then I wanted to be cool, so I picked up a guitar.
Of course, yeah.
Still not cool. Now I know how to play a guitar. And then I got into jazz, and for a while I thought I was going to be a jazz guitar player because it sounded really cool and romantic. And then when it came to decide a major, my parents weren't super inclined for like a purely music program, so I decided for journalism. I wanted to write about just culture in general, music included, food. Anthony Bourdain was my biggest inspiration growing up. I thought he was the coolest guy ever. But then I just ended up playing in bands in college and playing guitar, and I realized I played almost as good as these dudes that were in the program.
Nice. What kind of bands? Like, what kind of music?
The first band I was ever in the first band I was ever in was in Colombia. It's called The Highlights, even though we're all Colombian. And that was funny and lighthearted. And then I was in a Pink Floyd cover band.
Nice.
Oh, that's fun.
Sweet.
It's very random. We covered Dark Side of the Moon completely and Animals all the way through.
Love it.
Wow.
And you play guitar in there?
I play guitar, so I had to learn all the
You were
cool
the Dave
solos.
Gilmore?
Yeah. Those were shreddy solos, so I learned a lot learning all that stuff. And we would just smoke and play. And
Yeah.
Is there any video of that?
Yes, there is. I can probably like hunt it down.
Oh,
Please
yeah,
send us
we'd
some.
love to see
Yeah,
that.
We'll get a little clip.
I was
Yeah,
like
put a
15 years
little-
old.
Put a little clip on our Instagram maybe, but you do really learn a lot from like learning other people's stuff, especially
yeah.
something that's like so kind of, I guess for lack of a better word, difficult.
Sure.
Totally.
Pushing yourself early. But like, I don't know if you had this experience. I feel like I hear this from people a lot. Like, when you're 15, it's like, what else do you have to do than just like sit in your room and play guitar for hours?
For sure.
It's like you can kind of get really good really fast because like you don't have a job. You don't have like responsibilities. You don't have to cook dinner for your family. You're just like, I'll play that again. So, okay, man, there's just so much to cover here. So before you got into musical theater, you just like weren't even, did you sing around the house? Did you like write poetry or anything like that, Oliver?
No. So I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, actually. And so a lot of my time was that. It's like I wasn't allowed to do extracurriculars until we left when I was like 16. That's when I could do things like, it's when I wanted to do everything. Marching band, I wanted to do.
I want to do all the
Literally, it was
extracurriculars.
like,
Yeah.
You were ready.
I missed out on a lot, and I'm gonna catch up. So, I never really even thought in that way. But theater opened my creative mind to a lot of different things. Acting classes are fucking insane. I don't know if
Terence is also an actor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, you
we know.
rolling around on the floor like a
I'm
baby.
an orange.
And like,
Yeah.
a lot of weird fucking shit that I paid $30,000 to do. Yeah.
Actually sounds like money well spent, honestly. It sounds like a blast. And that you're now utilizing in your stage
For
performances,
sure.
right? So.
But before that, I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't know if I was gonna go to college. Jehovah's Witnesses aren't technically supposed to.
Really?
Really?
Go to,
Oh, wow.
go to college, and so it saved me in a way that I'll forgive the $30,000 because it just got me out of there and connected me to so many. That's like I went by Jake my entire life. My middle name Jake. My parents still call me Jake.
Oh, wow.
But when I left, I started going by Oliver, and that's like kind of when
Wow.
Oliver
Your
was
new birth.
born.
Wow, yeah, kind of getting to
love
reinvent
that.
Yeah.
yourself
Transformation.
completely.
Yeah.
And I did in a lot of different ways. Some of them were, bad ways, but I think most of them were good and learning experiences.
So that was pretty much the beginning of your like musical journey. It was like you got into that play when you were about 16, is
Yeah.
that right? Mm-hmm. And then you and Isaac started just making demos in college, is that right?
And it wasn't even. I met him a year later in college, and it wasn't till probably our sophomore and junior year that when we started living together, and he was like, I'm making this song, and I was like, I didn't even know that was possible.
Right, like you can just do that in your bedroom?
He was like, you
What?
should sing, you got a great voice. I was like, okay. And I would just say nonsense into the mic.
Right. I mean, what was that experience like for you from being sort of like almost completely discouraged from doing something like that to just being like, yeah, sure, I'll like do music, whatever that means?
Well, I'm still like learning. I feel so new all the time when it comes to like the business side of things. Shout out to business. And songwriting and working with the producer. It's all felt so new, which is what I really gravitated me towards musical theater. Like learning that late in the game. It's like I'm king of 2-month hobbies, where I go really hard on something for 2 months, but like with something like the idea of theater or acting or the idea of music, it's like there's so much to uncover and learn always, and so it's like I never can get bored of it.
Yeah. Right, you can't get to the bottom of it as quickly as you can like, I don't know, basket weaving or whatever.
Reinvent, yourself or, what you like about it, always discovering new things. So that was like what really jacked me up about the whole idea of theater and music in general.
What were like the musicals like? Was it just like traditional musicals or like new, more rock?
Yeah, no, I've done the gamut professionally and, in my educational life, but like anything goes. It's like a Cole Porter, 1930s situation where it's very classical style. And then I did Hair, which is like the love rock opera,
Who were you in Hair?
A character named Wolf who sings a song about masturbating.
That character, yes.
So
That's
awesome.
And that was a Rip Snortin good time.
Weren't you a Elvis impersonator also for a little bit?
There's
Bye Bye Birdie?
a show called $1 Million Quartet.
$1 Million. Oh, okay, right,
The jukebox musical about Sam Phillips and the Sun Record Studios in Memphis, and I played Elvis in Clarksville, which is what really just made me decide to move from New York. Was that I auditioned for that in New York, and then the show was in Clarksville, Tennessee, 45 minutes from where I grew up, and I was like, I'm killing myself out here trying to make it to go do a show 45 minutes from where I grew up. Like I gotta reinvent myself again. Let's figure this out.
That is wild.
Music is a grind, we we're just in the lobby talking about God, all the things that come with the grind and the no money, and it's literally a full-time job that's unpaid sometimes, so
we wouldn't know anything about that.
What?
But there's a sense of community in music that is musical theater is a bit more cutthroat. It's me versus you to get the part until you're in the show, and then you get a month of community, and that's the run of the show.
So funny.
And then I never see those people ever again in my entire life. And I'll forever have those memories. But music is you're planting roots in something long term, and that is what really
that's beautiful
connected me to it.
It's so funny because like you never know, like you guys like for the next 30 years could be like playing these songs and stuff, like
for sure.
And that's wild because it's true. Like you do a theater show and it's just like you got to run. You're probably not going to do Hair for 30 years, you know what I mean? Like,
or at least not with the same people.
Right back to waking up at 5 a.m. to sign up for an audition at 6 a.m. to be seen maybe by 3 p.m. It's like,
I hadn't even thought about the competitive aspect too, right? Because like until you're all on the production, you're sort of in theory like the competition. Because there's only one wolf, there's only one wolf in Hair.
Yeah, and you're looking at 30 other guys who look exactly like you, and who are probably more talented or went to a better school or have more connections and
or like buddies with whoever's casting.
Sure. And that competitive nature exists in music too.
Between projects
but it's
and
not
bands,
it's not quite the same though, right? Because it's like there's room for like more than one indie band in a city or whatever, or on a bill or on a festival bill or whatever.
And it's collaborative in ways that it doesn't have to be about music, but like collaborating in shows or a video or the creative aspects. Also, what I love about music is you decide what you create and when you create it. In musical theater, you're asking someone to decide for you. Can I participate? Can I be a part of this? And it's not. What I love about music is you are in control for the most part of what you can create, and when you create it, you're on your own timeline that way.
Yeah.
Not to jump too far ahead, maybe this is more like dog earing it for later, but did all these like thoughts about like how the business works, did that help influence the new album and the new campaign and all that?
If we want to talk about it, it was,
but we're gonna
Dog ear for later.
Dog
ear for later. Yeah, we're still at the beginning.
Yeah, so
So much to cover.
they're on the
Andres,
edge of
I
their
think-
seat.
I think this is pretty interesting because like you basically had the opposite experience, like where Oliver was sort of like discouraged. You were probably like pretty actively encouraged to pursue like, yes, play guitar,
sure.
play piano, like be in bands. That's amazing.
Yeah, my parents were always very supportive until I decided to do it like full time.
Wait.
They're like, no, this
Hold
was
on.
supposed to be a hobby you
That's
were really
enough.
good at.
But recently I was growing pizza with my dad, and he opened up and he just said that he himself was always too scared to do it full time. In his life, it was classical guitar that he really wanted to pursue. And there was like a moment, like a bifurcation on the road of his life where he could have gone like all in, and he didn't. He decided to be an engineer. So it's just out of love and, concern of your children.
Yeah, right. It's funny. It's like if your parents are creatives, they either really want you to do it or they're like, no, God, please
They're like,
just
it's a
get an
trap.
engineering
Trying
degree.
to save you
But
from all the
you
heartache.
must
that
be
they
so
experience.
proud though. That's really cool. Because
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
you do it. You're doing it.
I
It's
love
been a
seeing
great
your
time.
parents at the shows.
They get really excited,
Aw.
Big
Yeah.
Jive Talk fans, they buy all the merch. Even though they don't have to buy it. I'm like, you can just have it. It's like, no, I want to buy it.
Yeah. Actually,
Shout out to the parents.
Yeah, support your parents. But yeah, you get the mom and dad discount. Mom and dad, you get the thanks for putting me through like a lifetime of lessons, and So actually, Oliver, like, how do your parents feel about you sort of like taking just like the creative route, but then ultimately like being in music and like making a career of music?
Sure. No, it was not the easiest thing to go from, football and tell them you're quitting football. My dad, I'm quitting football, then I'm going to be in Willy Wonka Jr. because I'm Grandpa Joe.
What the hell? Yeah.
Willy Wonka.
And then even harder to be like, and I'm also going to college for this. But he's always been very, very much you do what you want to do, and in theater he was, it took him a minute to warm up to the idea. But again, once
I'm just chuckling about like the transition between football and musical theater.
dude,
That is like a very
that
different
was
just
social
like,
group.
what's
it was
happening?
tough. Yeah, it was tough.
Please proceed.
No, but it took him a minute to warm up. But I think what changed it for him is I worked every summer in between college professionally. Every summer I was somewhere, New Hampshire or Illinois, doing shows, and I wasn't coming home. For that summer break, I was gone doing these, and he was like, "Oh shit!" He's like, "Actually doing this."
Doing
like,
it,
he's
yeah.
like, man.
Oh,
So
it's
he
a
started
job.
Proof.
He started like coming to shows, and once he, I think, saw that, he's illegally recording all of my performances ever since then.
That's awesome.
Shout
And
out
he's-
Pops.
Yeah,
We love supportive
That's my guy, and he loves, I think, even more the music aspect because he he bought a guitar, and now he's like fiddling around on that
Oh,
and
sweet.
harmonica.
'Cause of you?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's because I think he
for
always
sure it is.
wanted
Yeah.
that, and
But you gave him
he was-
permission.
he was raised a Jehovah's Witness
Yeah.
as well, and so my mom is still a Jehovah's Witness, and so she hasn't seen me perform or anything like that. But it's just a difference in belief, and I believe in her. She raised us, 3 kids solo, as did my dad. So
Yeah.
whatever makes her happy is cool with me.
I love that.
But my dad is all for it always.
That's great.
For my mom, I'm still Jake. I'm forever.
Yeah.
I'm forever 14 in her eyes.
Well, that's
And-
normal, yeah.
yeah. And so and should just keep it that way. And it's always pleasant when I see her. But my dad is like in the shit. But yeah, it was a weird transition going from not to doing everything.
To doing everything.
I want to jump back to like when you were just like making up words, coming up with songs, right? What were the kind of things that landed for you where you like started writing lyrics? You know what I mean?
I've found it, and I still find it easiest today writing about anything but me. I like looking at something through someone else's eyes or making up a situation. Now, for sure, there are phrases or scenarios that could be influenced by things that I've experienced. But I find when I try writing, like, my own, like, specific experiences, it just becomes, or maybe it's just in my head, but it feels like I choose trite words or really on the nose stuff. But when I do, something remove myself from the lyrical equation, that I can become more, metaphorical or think about things in a different lens because I'm detached from it.
Yeah.
So I've always gravitated towards that just because it's easier. But maybe one of these days I'll buck up and try to figure that shit out.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me think a couple of things. As an actor, you play characters, and so it's bringing a character to life. You can see it from an outside perspective, and so you can bring it more multi-dimensionally. But also reminds me of like Bowie's quote where he's like, "People don't pay me to be myself on stage,"
Hell yeah.
And it's like,
Well,
I think that's perfectly okay.
Well, that's true for like the live performance.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen like the videos, but that's not who I am. Obviously, right now, I'm very fucking chill. And this guy too. He's fucking getting down on there. And
I know, it's awesome.
When we first started practicing, when I first met him, this guy here, I was concerned because it was stiff, and I was like, oh no, what happened? And then we go to like an actual performance. And I was no longer concerned.
He was just saving it up.
I love
saving it up.
How long had you guys been playing Jive Talk before Andreas entered the picture?
We had never played a show.
Oh, really?
Wow.
So okay.
So
Yeah.
Jive Talk's first show was after the pandemic sort of
We
subsided.
did a live stream that was
Oh,
before
cool.
Andreas, but that was during the pandemic. But when we came out of that, Andreas was in there rocking it with us. So
It's been a wild ride.
it's been a wild ride.
Well, so you're just sort of like in between, like, teenage discovery and forming Jive Talk. You kind of, college sounds like for you it was mostly about theater, Oliver, right?
Yeah.
I mean, with just like bedroom demos with Isaac, kind of like for fun.
Yep.
But then, Andreas, you were in a band in college, is that right?
I was in a couple bands.
Well,
and they're all
probably.
terrible.
Probably
they're all
100.
really bad.
Call them out. What are the names?
What kind of? No. Well, you can call them out or not, but like what kind of bands, what kind of
highlights.
music?
The highlights was in high school in Colombia. I was in a band in college called Harp and the Bears, and it was my first exposure to playing shows in like real venues and all the ins and outs of like live music production. So I learned a lot in that realm, but we were really loud, and I feel like we disturbed people.
Oh, yeah. That's the best part when you're young, just turning everything up all the way and just.
I lost a lot of hearing because of that band.
Shout out to Tinnitus.
Tinnitus.
Gone.
And then, slowly got more serious about it. And then when Jive Talk started playing shows, is the first band ever that people came back to see the show again. That had never happened.
Wow.
And it was a crazy feeling. And now it happens all the time, all over the country, which is nice.
How do you guys like write songs for Jive Talk? Who's like the main?
It can happen in a lot of different ways, but usually somebody has a demo that they do a simple verse chorus on in a bedroom, or Ben works out of the studio. 4115 shout out. And then we'll sling it around the group chain, and if somebody connects to it or is feeling it, they'll get the stems and load it into their shit and add a little more to it. And slowly we're like, just kind of.
Oh yeah. Well, I think I read that in one of your pieces of press, and I was like, oh, it's like kind of like the modern version of the Postal Service. You don't have to physically mail it anymore. Isn't that nice?
Crazy because we live like all within the same mile radius. Yeah. It's like, that's too much fucking work. Just fucking send it. But when it gets to a point, sometimes we do sessions together and we write, two people or do it's. We've always been used to like the smaller groups too, like 3 people max. When in the first like incubation periods of a song, and then once it's got a skeleton, we'll that's when we start adding in some more voices and getting some more parts in there.
I love it. I'm trying to like get to like what was the first song you guys ever
wrote?
wrote?
Because you guys brought in a song today that you wrote together.
No, this is a song that Oliver wrote way back when.
Oh, way back when. Okay, nice.
This was
10 years, 15 years?
Ooh.
Well, it was college, and it was the
Yeah.
first song I remember writing with Isaac.
With Isaac.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Nice.
amazing.
Oh, I'm so
and
excited.
it's still a part of our set today. And Andres has added, parts to it in the live set as well. So
wow.
Oh,
it's
nice.
grown a lot in those 10 years. And
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the same song it was, but
For sure.
oh,
Yeah,
that's
for
so
sure.
cool.
Yeah.
And what's it called?
It's called Sheila.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You guys want to hit it for us?
You want to hear it?
Oh, always.
Want to hear it? Here it go.
Good to go. I turn you into Gumby and you melt into my skin. I outstretch my simple arms and I put you back together again. Playing make-believe with figurines in the quicksand to alleviate the pressure. But the door became a shaman while Sheila waited patiently. And if I can't unknow you, then how can the TV work properly? If life is what you make it, then how can the TV work properly? Playing make-believe with figurines in the quicksand. It's never something simple. But Sheila from accounting, she always waits so patiently. And will the winter end? Are we bundled up for the night? When you say I can't feel anything, but I'm okay in a certain light. When we were 17 with Listerine for the quicksand, when were we ever listening? But Sheila with her baggage recoils from my memory. My butter teeth are breaking, but blank stares mean something to somebody. My mouth ran out of minutes, but blank stares mean something to somebody. We were 17 with Listerine for the quicksand. When were we ever listening? And I said, I'm sorry, Sheila, you always wait so patiently. I said, I'm sorry, Sheila, said, I'm sorry, Sheila, said, I'm sorry. And I said, I'm sorry, Sheila, said, I'm sorry, Sheila, said, I'm sorry. And I said, I'm sorry, Sheila, you always wait so patiently.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's a great song.
I
So-
love that. Sheila
Oh,
from
wow.
accounting.
Can you tell me about the lyrics?
So, on top of me writing from someone else's point of view, a third person envisioning a Sheila, a very tight, kind of tight bun corporate accountant, and somebody on the outside in some kind of relationship, maybe seeing another side of Sheila, an untamed side, and that whole juxtaposition was really interesting to me at the time. But also, there's a band called Y, like WHY with a question mark,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
yeah.
familiar. And Yoni Wolf is the front man, and he paints these pictures that don't always make sense in reality, but they sound so good coming out of your mouth. And so I'm always definitely inspired by him, lyrically, and paying more attention, I guess, to how things come out and the picture that they're painting, not only with the specific words, but like the syllables and the consonants and how they kind of cut and smooth together. And so this was my first kind of experimentation into writing and finding my voice. lyrically, and it still made it into the live set
Wow.
here. So
It's a great song.
yeah, and again, totally different live.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Of course,
I bet.
of course, I don't play guitar live at all, but I also enjoy playing this kind of stripped down version and just really focusing on the lyrics.
Well,
you know.
it's funny because I listened to you guys a bunch on the way down. I drove down from Blacksburg, and like this is like a very, very different vibe. But I kind of like this kind of like more like contemplative version of this
Yeah,
song.
yeah.
You know, it's like it's a
Yeah.
little more like
Melancholy.
yeah. But so you were what, like 19ish when you wrote this?
Yeah, somewhere.
I love
18,
the
19.
idea of you like imagining a corporate accountant, like, because I mean, had you
Right.
even had a job? Like, it's so funny to kind of think about like being sort of a pre-career kid and imagining this like world of adulthood.
And what
Yeah, because it
was.
sounds like I imagine somebody who's older who's been like working that job for like years,
Right.
you know?
Or
Sure,
like
yeah.
maybe you had watched The Office, or I don't know. I'm just
Sure.
trying to imagine where that image came from for
And
you.
I'm not sure that there even was a specific, maybe my idea of what I have spent time in the corporate world, but this is obviously way prior to that, and the song would probably be different now.
You'd be like, ugh, that fucking Sheila from
fucking
accounting. God
emails.
damn it. She keeps
Still
sending
waiting
back my petty
patiently.
cash
Yeah.
form 'cause I didn't.
Yeah, but the waiting patiently, waiting for a phone call, or waiting for an affirmation, or waiting for the courage to leave something. I don't know. That was all
love
just kind of
that.
like bouncing around, and
It's like the negative space. It's like what you don't say. What you
and,
waiting
and that
for,
anybody can decide. I love hearing a song and being like, "This is what it means to me." I don't want to read what they meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when
Oh,
they
yeah.
wrote
Oh, yeah.
it, 'cause it
Totally.
would ruin that.
Because it doesn't matter.
to
Yeah.
me, right? And it truly is what you make of it, and
Yeah.
and I love that about
Well,
music.
you'll hear a lot of people who like write for others. I think actually Kevin, who you met a few minutes ago, said this in an interview where you want to make your songs feel personal, but then also make them
Accessible.
not exactly non-specific enough that other people can see their own experience in them.
That's a challenge.
Yeah,
It's a
well,
tightrope.
I mean, I've heard like Katy Perry say that in interviews, but we were also kind of talking to was it Jack Gray that we were joking about how just unbelievably specific these like Gen Z bedroom pop musicians' lyrics
Yes.
Yeah.
You were walking
like-
down Gallatin and you were wearing the fuzzy hat your grandma gave you from your second bar mitzvah. It's like,
You're like,
I'm like,
whoa.
whoa.
are. Yeah, and I love that this is such a thing that here we are talking to
Yeah.
like totally people in a totally different genre, totally
Yeah.
different city, and it's like, oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
But actually, so, in terms of like y'all's songwriting process, I was reading, I think it was like the Brooklyn Magazine interview with you guys, like I had of your show there. And it was so interesting to me how like kind of diverse group you all are in terms of like what you like.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you all had such wildly different answers for what your favorite movie was. I think
Yeah,
yours was Enter the Void, Andreas. Is that right?
Probably not anymore.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to
At the
give an
time.
update?
That was a weird time.
Let's give an update. Yeah, what is it now?
I don't know. Something happy. What's a good
Totally something happy. Totally not something like dark and weird.
Not something fucked up at all.
I still haven't seen that movie.
It's intense.
Yeah, that director is wild.
Wait,
Gaspar Noé.
Gaspar Noé, yeah.
I think he's Argentinian or something with like some
French,
French,
no?
French heritage. But yeah, he's got some wild movies.
That is,
Oh,
that
yeah.
is true, though. We're all, Isaac and Ben are like big slow dive, big shoegaze,
I love
big
slow dive.
You
That makes
know,
sense, yeah.
and so there's that influence, and I was just pretty much just like the yacht rock kind of fun little funk stuff, and why? So it's
Yeah,
the
that
two
makes
ends of that
sense, yeah.
spectrum. Phil's a big Fish guy, so there's the jam.
Yeah, no,
The
I mean,
jam
but
world.
like Fish is a very fun live show. I stand by that.
Oh, for
Oh,
sure.
he loves
bet.
it.
He plays a vacuum cleaner at one point, right?
No, he
Oh.
doesn't. A
That was
vacuum
part
cleaner?
of the show at some point.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say,
Whoa.
yeah, that rings a bell. But I mean, like, I love this. I actually wrote this down because I thought it was so kind of cute and interesting. I didn't assign names to which one, but the list of favorite movies from the members of your band. I'm just gonna read this for our listeners. It was Stop Making Sense,
Stay.
Heavyweights.
Phil.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is great. Okay, Synecdoche, New York.
Yeah.
That was you. Okay, that was Oliver.
Love that.
Enter the Void. We discussed that was Andres, and then There Will Be Blood.
Ben.
That's very Ben.
I love that that's your favorite movie because it's
But
like
I love that they can pick it out too. It's so good.
just like again I don't know, are we ready to talk about the business yet or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. I think we're about there because we've talked about how Jive Talk got
Well,
We
together.
made it.
We were here.
Made it
We've
to the
arrived.
business. But that's all the time we've got.
No, we needed to get to the formation of the band, but I think we can move into like more of the present phase.
Well, it's just how like meta it is, and just I love stuff like that. And Synecdoche is very like that
For sure.
You know,
And
that movie.
The song in the credits,
Oh
Little
my
Person.
God, yeah.
That we covered that.
Yeah.
We used to
open the
our
shows
sets.
with
that
It's
song.
really
Oh,
like
really?
ethereal.
Yeah.
Little Person.
I love the lyrics of that song.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Did Charlie Kaufman write the lyrics of that?
No, John.
Brian, right?
Oh
the
yeah,
one.
he's a
Right. Yeah.
what a cool collaboration. I love how, film and music sort of influence each other, especially
Yes.
like the meaning a song takes on when it
It's
becomes
played
part
with
of a film or a TV
Oh,
show.
yeah.
Like,
Yes.
the theme song to the OC, or like that, is it a White Stripes song that's in Napoleon Dynamite, that I Think We're Gonna Be Friends?
Oh yeah.
I can tell.
It just,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that
Wait,
song
that's
might,
Juno, right?
That
Or-
would have been like, Napoleon Dynamite.
It's
And the
in that
opening credits, I
Napoleon?
think.
Yeah.
And then
it's
they have
got-
Jamiroquai.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the dancing
Yeah.
is just pretty
Right.
funny.
A lot of people learned
Dance.
about Jamiroquai
But I
from
feel like
movie.
that White Stripes song like wouldn't. I mean, that would have been a total B-side,
Books and pens.
right?
Yeah.
It's so good, and the title sequence. Sorry, I digress.
No, but
but
you're totally right.
I love that this is so old school to like not look up something right away and just try to
don't,
remember.
Don't Google it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And just be like, that's a good game to play, listeners out there.
Yeah,
Try
yeah.
not Googling something and being like, I think it was this.
Yeah,
Just
remember
stand on
before
your-
you had an
your
iPhone and you
beliefs.
could have an
Yeah.
hour-long discussion about like who was that guy in that movie?
And there would still be no
onward.
answer.
Yeah, and or you'd find an answer and it was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, back to you guys. Back to
Business.
Jive Talk.
Finally, I'm dressed up in a suit and tie.
Yeah, I
I've
thought
been
we
waiting
were
to
gonna
talk about the
We're all wearing
business.
suits.
There's a water cooler right in the middle of the
Yeah.
room.
Yeah. We got like PowerPoint presentations playing left and right.
So you guys were already pretty serious about the band by the time Andres joined, I guess.
We were serious about the idea of being serious.
Okay.
That's pretty serious.
It was pretty serious. And we didn't know how or what or, but we were serious about finding out how,
Yeah.
right when Andreas joined.
It's a weird time for the world because we're just coming out of COVID, or we're still in COVID.
It's over, baby. We made it.
Yeah. Well, no, that was
Mission
like what,
accomplished.
like 2020, 2021, something like that.
Yeah. So it was all happening under that context. And I met Phil first, the drummer, in an underground jam sesh
Ooh.
because we weren't allowed to see other people, but we really wanted to play music.
Yeah.
So we disobeyed. And we jammed for like 4 hours. And it was fun. He was a goofy guy. And then I jammed with Isaac too, and they asked me to hang out.
We met Phil randomly at Mickey's. We were playing a game. It was like when things first started opening up, and the group, me, Ben, and Isaac, and then some friends were there, and we were like, everybody right now split up and go make a new friend, and like
I
right
love
now.
that.
And so we all dispersed, and Isaac's girlfriend at the time met Phil,
Oh, nice.
and Phil came over to the table and started, chirping it up, and I was sketch on it because Phil is the kind of guy who will go up and can talk to anybody, and he's like, "Cool, you want to play tennis tomorrow?" Like, I'm just not that kind of person. I gotta
warm up.
Yeah,
Gotta warm up to it, yeah.
go through my procedures.
Yeah.
Before I can go play tennis with somebody. So Isaac went out and sussed him out, jammed with him on the drums. And he was like, he's cool. I'm like, right on, let's get him in. We need a drummer, let's go. And then we're like, I really don't want to play an instrument, and we need a fifth person. And Phil was like, and Phil and Isaac both knew Andres. And he's like, he's really good. I was like, bring him in. And that's how it all came to
That's
be.
so cool. I mean, and Andres, had you already kind of decided that you were like going to be a professional musician?
At that point, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was playing with a different band, and we had toured a little bit, and we had a big tour planned out that fell through because of COVID.
Right.
But it was a different vibe. And I was playing bass for that band. It was just heavy rock.
You like guitar more?
I like it both.
Yeah.
And for Jive Talk, I also play synths
Oh,
sometimes.
nice. What kind of synths do you like to?
For Jive Talk, I've been using it's a MS-2000
Oh,
Korg.
yeah.
It came out in the year 2000. It's really
Oh.
versatile.
With all the cables,
I remember
right?
those.
It's all compact. It's semi-modular, but it's all
Yeah.
digital.
It's a
And
new version of it, yeah.
yeah, I love
New in the year
synths.
2000.
Well, no, but I mean, they have like the old school ones.
They
with
got
all
the MS-20,
Yeah.
which is like a monophonic modular also.
Is that the kind that looks like an operator
Yeah,
switchboard?
from the-
Yeah.
It's the one Sheila from accounting uses.
Right.
Yeah.
So once you had your like live band put together, I mean, what was the next step from there? It was like, all right, now we're gonna tour, or
Yeah, and Phil luckily was already a booking agent.
hell
so,
yeah! Oh my god, that's the guy you want in your band, a drummer
he
and a booking
was-
agent.
Yeah,
Shit.
I know. Phil moved from LA and was doing, I don't know if it was booking, but he was doing something for, was it True Grit for the whole time? True Grit Talent
the
Agency?
same people. It's a small
It's a
agency.
boutique agency.
That's
No, I
so
know
sweet.
who they are. Yeah.
But he came here and he was doing it and
Wow.
was booking, and thank God, because again, we're all Isaac and Ben, love making music, and we're all just newborn babies with no clue of
Yeah.
what the house production feel. How do I go to the venue and ask them if I can play? How do we do this?
Yeah.
So Phil was very good about getting us out, made the Nashville runs of all the places, and played a lot of good opportunities where it was like a built-in crowd, and that led to more. We wanted to kind of establish in Nashville first, and then we just started doing little shoots to like Atlanta and New Orleans and the Carolinas.
Yeah, you guys are actually situated pretty well here because, there's kind of like the Northeast cluster, and then there's this kind of like Southern cluster of like
Yeah,
cities
for
that like
sure.
aren't too far apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny on the West Coast. It's like LA, it's like San Diego, LA, San Francisco, and then like 18 hours to Portland.
Yeah.
I saw you guys, again, on that Brooklyn Mag interview was actually really great, I thought. But you were kind of talking about like, yeah, well, like this is like our first show in New York, and we're kind of like getting out there, whatever. But you were all like, I could tell it was such like a managed expectations answer where you're like, well, I mean, we all still have day jobs. We like take this pretty seriously. But that was like a couple years ago. So how do you feel like you've kind of progressed from that point?
Well, we've got a good team with us. We're on Red Light Management.
Oh, nice.
Neil Mason's our manager.
Yeah.
And he's been, as somebody, he's, currently in the Cadillac 3, obviously a band that's, very successful in their own world. And, he's been able to provide some super helpful insight and perspective on how to take it to the next level. And that's kind of where we got to the business.
Yeah.
His plan, he came on in 2022. So his plan for 2023 was we need to release as many songs as you can with the greatest production value, video content, and, social media strategy. We had a tendency previously to we released an EP and we'll talk about it for 2 weeks and then it goes to
move
the
on
shelf.
to the next. Yeah, because you already have a backlog of stuff, probably.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And so it's he, I guess, provided more insight on the value of not throwing away a song just because it's 2 weeks old, and finding different avenues, and obviously his connections for radio play and just his presence. And he's our little dojo. What are they
He's
called?
your sensei.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh man, I love that.
That's
This is
cool.
Master Splinter to your Ninja Turtle.
And he's got a good, just like grounding energy. He, if you're listening, I've never told you this, but he's just like his way of speaking. He'll take like 15 seconds. You ask him a question, he'll take like, he's really thinking about what the words that he's going to choose next to
Intentional, yeah.
say. And that's great for us because we're all like, oh God, we're not playing this. We got to go. We're near recording tomorrow. Let's go practice. We're all over the place. So he's a great,
a great
grounding.
balance.
I wish we had caught video of you doing that for the listeners. Oliver it was like with a 15-second wait. That was like great, like looking up.
Well,
You guys can edit that out. That's
I think it's really important to have people either in your band or on your team who are kind of like the foil to whatever your energy is.
Oh, yeah.
But I think especially
Shout
as
out
the
for
creator,
sure.
like you're like, hey, we got new stuff. Yeah, we're doing everything. And it's like you need somebody to be like, well, make sure you tell everybody about the stuff you're doing. Like, don't forget to post about it.
And that's so like, astute to create like that whole campaign. Now it makes sense,
For sure.
and so how creatively did it come to be?
So I was driving to work, and we were trying to figure out. We weren't even going to put these on an EP. That came much later when Neil was like, it'd be a great story if you guys have all these together. If you can find a through line, to package these. And I was like, creatively and lyrically, there's not like, anywhere. These were singles, and some of them each had their own individual story. But I was thinking, like, what landscape could each of these have their own little lane in? And I was like, well, we're doing all this and we're learning so much about like the music industry and the business, and we're like taking it all these extra steps so that we can be more favorable to a label or an agent or something like that. And I was like, it's just the business. Like it's all about right now the creative side is done and has been done, and now how can we still have fun with the back end of everything. Like, it's the business. We'll wear fucking suits and we'll go into the Warner office and film music videos, and we'll have this whole persona, which I love a theme. I love the
It's a good character.
we did like mad scientists for potions. We had these huge cloaks, and that was dope.
We're a big fan of themes.
Yeah.
We
I'm
have-
about a theme.
And for live shows, we also play into these themes. For the Potions tour, we wore lab coats and goggles, and it was very goofy.
That's so
and then people
fun.
started buying the goggles, and showing up to the shows with the goggles. And we're like, we're not doing the goggles anymore. I'm sorry.
We're kind of running low on time, but do you guys want to play us something new?
Yeah, you guys haven't eaten.
Yeah.
Well,
From the
you
business. Sell, buy, sell.
Can you play the Gardner? You got the Gardner on there?
She uses guitar.
Yep.
I love the infomercial vibe too.
Oh yeah,
It's great.
That was a big, because we wanted like business, but we wanted like with the secondary Y2K.
Yeah.
Kind of aesthetic.
Yeah, while we're arranging mics here, who do you work with on those things, or do you kind of self-produce them?
We've got a guy named Zach Davis. He's
Shout out Zach.
a guy we found, young, and he's just super stoked about the music. And I can send him like a storyboard of like, this is what I'm thinking for this, and he's a yes man.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing's ever like,
Love him.
we can't do that logistic. He's always like, sure, let's fucking figure it out, man.
Nice.
So shout out Zach Davis.
Shout out Zach.
He's a good homie.
That's so
Sweet.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to introduce this song?
The song's called The Gardener, recorded, this whole album was recorded at Polychrome Ranch. I wanted to shout out Jared Corder at the Polychrome for helping us out here. And this is From the Business. Let me stand in your light a little while. Tiptoe the garden, maintain the ground. And I won't need no answer, I won't ever pin you down. I'll tend to the tulips, I won't even make a sound. In my dreams the other day, you came to me and you said, you're my kind of heaven, ain't that how it's supposed to be? Oh, but then the morning comes and I wonder if you're thinking of me. I'll wait alone in the garden, and I'll give you my thoughts for free. Well, oh, you don't say, oh, you don't seal my love. I can't wait to be. Oh, you don't say, oh, you don't seal my love. I can't wait to be my love. I can't wait to be my love. I can't wait to be with you. I don't wanna change you none, make a fuss. We don't gotta go downtown or stay up late at all. We swallow in the silence, sipping on tea for two. Oh, but then the morning comes and goes back to the garden in Louis. Now the apothecary's staring, and the sisters too. And I've got the car all gassed up, I'm in it, how about you? And we'll go to the grocery, and we'll pay our bills, and we'll stay up late. And if not now, then when, love? 'Cause oh no, I just can't wait. I can't wait to be my love. I can't wait to be it's my love, and I can't wait to be with you.
Amazing.
Wow, thank you so
That's a
much,
great song.
guys.
Thank
Oliver,
you.
Andres, thank you so much
Thank you,
for
Jack Talk.
Thanks for having us.
hanging out at the hotel room party.
Yeah, check out Jive Talk. You guys are amazing.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
A rip snortin' good time indeed. In case you didn't get the reference, The Business is the boys' EP that came out shortly before we interviewed them in December. Please check that out, as well as their brand spanking new single, Rat People. If you're at Bonnaroo this weekend, make sure you check out their set. You will not be sorry. As always, links to everything will be in the show notes, including links to our socials, where we always appreciate a little love. If you like the pod, and we hope you do, we would very much appreciate a follow, rate, and review. It actually really helps to move the needle for us. So thank you, we love you, and we'll see you next week.